Hello, I'm Professor. So, I decided to do a full review for once, and to get the footage, I had to get the movie, and well, getting the movie wasn't easy. I had to dig it up in some hole. Anyways, because of all the shit that I'm obviously going to be getting soon, let's take a look at something that hole. So, whatever hole I got this out of, I'll be all week. Take a look at it. Where the hell's the VHS? So, anyways, this is hole. It's made by Disney. Came out in the early 2000s. It's based off a book. It's obviously gonna suck. Well, actually, to its credit, it actually wasn't all that bad. In fact, I'd even say it's pretty damn good. But it's not without its flaws. So, let's dig up holes. Okay, I can see you pulling your guns out of here. I can see you pulling out your guns. I'm done with the hole puns, okay? Assholes. Okay, I'm done. Die in a hole. I'm really done this time. The film begins with a rather dark scene where you see Barfbag get his toe bitten by a rattlesnake. Why did he stick his toe to get bit by the rattlesnake? I don't know. I guess digging holes for 18 months really messes up your brain. We then meet our protagonist, Stanley Yelnats, as the infamous Sweet Feet Shoes hit him on the head. Stanley Yelnats does a bit of narration during the scene talking about his life, and he's played by Shia LaBeouf. Now, because he wasn't in Transformers yet, I have nothing wrong with him in this movie. Stanley gets arrested and gets taken to his home. There, we meet his relatives.
It's all because of your no-good, dirty, rotten, pig-stealing great-great-grandfather.
You see, the no-good, dirty, rotten, pig-stealing great-grandfather is a guy that everyone in the movie believes that's part of the Yelnats family. But they go deeper into that story later. Stanley then goes to court. Due to the Yelnats family not being able to afford a lawyer, Stanley is easily proven guilty and sent to Camp Green Lake, a juvenile correction facility. By the way, what judge would say this?
I could send you to jail, and I would not lose one bit of sleep over it.
Stanley then arrives at Camp Green Lake and meets Mr. Sir, played by John Boyd. Now, it would be expected for Mr. Sir to act like those tough military assholes you see in old war movies, right? Well, kind of. They do it a bit better, make him a bit less cliched, but he still does have that. Now Mr. Sir tells Stanley about the lizards and the rattlesnake.
You need to keep alert for lizards and rattlesnakes.
Rattlesnakes?
You don't bother them, they won't bother you. Usually. Being bit by a rattler ain't the worst thing that can happen to you. You won't die, usually. But you don't want to get bit by a yellow-spotted lizard. That is the worst thing that can happen to you. You will die a slow and painful death. Always.
Now, if you guys read the book, yeah, read it, I know, you would know that this part is very similar to the first chapter of the book. I just found that really clever. We then meet Dr. Pendensky, played by Tim Blake Nelson. He seems like a nice guy at first, but you just gotta watch the rest of the movie to see the truth. Dr. Kondensky shows Stanley around the camp. I really like the set of pure green light. It's really close to what I imagined it to look like in the book. We then meet the other kids.
Who's a Neanderthal?
This is Stanley.
So what's happening with Barfbag?
Oh, Louis won't be returning. He's still in the hospital. Stanley, meet Rex, Alan, and Theodore.
Hi.
Okay, let's see. We got the fat kid, the smartass, the kid that doesn't talk much. Yeah, I think our cliche gang's all here. Okay, in reality, you're not really that cliche, but still. So they show Stanley where he'll be sleeping. We also meet Magnet, Zigzag, and Zero.
Hey, Theodore, is there a place where I can fill my canteen up with water?
I know he smells that.
Joe, my name is not Theodore. It's Armpit.
Jeez, man, he just got here. It's hard to believe this guy becomes actually a really likable character in the next book in the series, Small Steps. Yes, I actually read that. So then we get a flashback where you see Stanley and Clyde Livingston in court. Oh, and if you don't like flashbacks, then don't worry, there's only 10 million more! The book had a lot of flashbacks, but geez, not to this degree. We then get another flashback telling the story of when Stanley's ancestor was robbed by outlaw Kissing Kate Barlow. She was an outlaw that kisses people that she killed. But the one outlaw that not many people know about is fucking Fred. You don't want to know what happens when he robs you. Give me all your money! You already took all of it, man! Ah! So the day begins and Stanley is ready to dig his first hole. You know, teens aren't really the nicest really early in the morning. Plus they have criminal records. And shovels. And they're in the middle of the desert with no supervision. At all. Not really the best idea now, is it? It's stranger every time something actually happens, it's when the water truck is there and adults there. Huh. We then get another flashback showing Stanley's ancestor, Elia. Apparently he's in love with this girl, so he goes to this fortune teller named Madame Zeroni. Yes, the name will lead to a plot twist that is just as obvious as you think. Anyway, Madame Zeroni tells him to go to America, but Elia goes to the girl's parents and gets rejected because he has nothing to offer. He goes back to Madame Zeroni, and she tells him to take a small pig up the mountain and let it drink from the water while he sings a song to it. He should do this for a few days, but then take Madame Zeroni up the mountain so she will be strong like the pig. If he doesn't, his family will be cursed. Yeah, you see where this is going. Anyway, he gets mad at the girl for being an idiot, even though Madame Zeroni told him that, and forgets to take her up the mountain. Big surprise. We then see Stanley find something, but it's a fossil, so Dr. Kondensky doesn't really care. We then get another fucking flashback. This time, it is literally right something out of a Disney movie. Wait a minute. We then meet Sam, a young black man, yes, that will play a role later, who sells medical stuff. Like onions that give you immortality. Well, everyone believes him though, so whatever. We also meet Kate, who is known for her delicious peaches. We then see X-Ray, who tells Stanley that whenever he finds something, he should give it to X-Ray, so then he can get the day off. Because when you find something, you can get the day off. And yes, this, just like everything else in the movie, will be important later on. We then see Stanley get into a small accidental fight and gets the nickname Caveman. We then see Stanley find another thing. Maybe Elliot was just really bad at finding things, and this curse just like did the opposite, so now his family's good at finding things. When X-Ray tells Caveman to give it to him, Caveman says that X-Ray should turn it in the next day so he gets the entire day off. X-ray then turns in the next day, and the warden gets called down. If I wasn't too lazy, I mean busy, I would have made a counter of how many times the warden says, "Excuse me." I can, however, do this.
Excuse me? Excuse me?
No, you didn't.
Excuse me? Excuse me?
Hey, how's she know my name, huh?
Oh, she's got the whole place wired. Oh, yeah, she's got these little tiny microphones and cameras all over the place. Yeah, she's got them in the rec room. She's got them in the tent. She's got them in the showers.
They're not in the showers.
Man, don't listen to him. I read his file. It says he suffers from acute paranoia.
Hey, so that means she watches me every day, huh?
Man, it says she got cameras and microphones, not microscopes.
That was actually hilarious. We then go to a guess. Can you guess? Can you really guess? A flashback! Yay! Anyway, you start seeing Sam and Kate really start to meet each other. Sam says, alright, that he can fix Kate's leaky roof. He also says this.
I'm just good with my hands.
In more ways than just fixing roofs. He then agrees to fix up the school for an exchange of 3 jars of peaches. Seriously, you are taking time away from your business to do backbreaking work for only 3 jars of peaches? Do these peaches have cocaine or something in them? Because that's the only reason I'd see any reason to do this. And he fixes the building up during school hours, because that isn't a distraction or anything. Oh, and we then start seeing a starting romance that is something out of a Disney film. Oh, wait.
You know, that door doesn't hang straight.
I can fix that.
Okay, now she's just using him. We then see a guy who is also in love with Kate, and yes, this will be important later, don't even fucking ask. And she rejects him. We then get a montage with romantic music that is right out of a Disney film. Oh wait. They then kiss and the guy from earlier sees them. How does this become important later? Let's just see how. We then go back to the actual plot for a few seconds. You know, I think this film favors the flashbacks over the actual story. Almost nothing happens in the next few scenes. I think they're there just so you don't forget that you're in homes. We then get to the part where everything builds up to. Everyone starts burning the school because a white person kissed a black person. We then see a creepy drunk sheriff who wants Kate to kiss him. What kind of police is this? The rioters then burn Sam's car, kill his mule, and then shoot Sam and kill him. We then see Mr. Sir tell everyone that they're gonna go back to digging individual holes. Meanwhile, Kate shoots the sheriff and then kisses him and then becomes Kissin' Kate. We then see one of the kids stole sunflower seeds from Mr. Sir's truck. They pass the bag around until it lands in Stanley's hole and Mr. Sir catches him. Nobody touches the seeds, bitch! So Mr. Sir takes Stanley to see the warden. The warden tells Stanley to get her nail polish, which is made out of rattlesnake venom. She then scratches Mr. Sir across the face. You know, if nail polish scratching you across the face is this effective, then I could make millions if I sold this to the military. Or hell, just imagine what would happen if you saw Wolverine with this on his claws. That would be fucking terrifying. So when Stanley gets back to his hole, he sees that Zero dug some of his hole. Stanley then decides to teach Zero how to read because he wants to learn how. The next day, Mr. Sir is acting like a huge asshole. A bigger huge asshole. One kid asks what happened to his face, and Mr. Sir strangles the kid. I can't complain. That's exactly how I react in public when people ask me about my face or my voice. Mr. Sir also doesn't give Stanley water. He just pours the water next to his canteen. So Stanley starts teaching Zero to read. Zero offers to help Stanley dig his hole every day, so they'll get finished around the same time, so Stanley will have enough time to teach him to read. The other kids aren't very happy about this. Meanwhile, Zero tells Stanley how he lived by himself when his mom left him. So it's lunchtime, and things turn for the worst when Zigzag offers to give Stanley a graham cracker so he can dig Stanley's hole. Stanley knows he's just trying to make fun of him and rejects. They shove each other a bit, and Dr. Kandinsky says that Stanley should hit Zigzag back. He does slap him a bit, and Zigzag beats the shit out of him. Zero then starts to choke Zigzag. After the fight, they then tell the warden about what's going on with Zero digging Stanley's hole. Zero then decides if Stanley can't teach him to read, he won't dig holes. He hits Dr. Kandinsky in the face with a shovel and runs away.
Excuse me?
We then see a flashback where Stanley's grandfather tells him a story about how his ancestors survived living in the desert by finding refuge on a mountain called God's Thumb. So a new kid comes to camp and faces Zero. That was fast. His name is Twitch, and he's there for stealing a car. That's really all you need to know about him. So Stanley later steals the water truck, but crashes into a hole. He keeps running into the desert though, so he can find Zero. Back at camp, the warden tells Mr. Sir not to report Stanley's runaway until 2 weeks later. By then, there'll be nothing left to find. This is the biggest question I have with this film. They have almost no checks on this place at all. Seriously, you're punishing kids 9 hours from civilization, and you're not gonna have any police or anything come and check to see if they're torturing kids, which in fact they fucking are. If the government or whoever's in charge of this does checks, no kid would go missing for too long. Stanley then finds an old boat, which is surprisingly in good shape, and finds Zero underneath. He is indeed alive, and living on old peaches that are liquid. He calls it sploosh. They happen to find God's Thumb and begin climbing it. They also play extremely cheesy music that is right out of a Disney film. Oh wait. They almost make it to the top, but Zero gets sick. Ready guys? This is the big build-up. Stanley carries Zero up the mountain. When he gets to the top, he finds water. He tells Zero to drink the water, and when he does, Stanley sings a song, and the curse on the Yellnuts family is broken. Seriously, this is why I love the book and the movie so much. It's because everything's all linked at the end. It's really cool. Meanwhile, at the Yellnuts residence, Stanley's father finally finds the cure for smelly shoes. Zero also explains how he stole the shoes and dropped them over the overpass where Stanley found them. Stanley's attorney comes to camp and tries to get Stanley, but fails. She will return though. Do you miss flashbacks? No? Well, fuck you, here's one. This one is rather dark. It's about Kissing Kate sitting in the dried up lake next to where the love of her life died. Suddenly, two people point guns at her and tell her to hand over the treasure she had buried in the lake. Kate identifies one of the kids as one of her students. Kate then tells them to start digging for it and picks up a yellow spotted lizard. When it bites her, she laughs as she slowly dies. Back in the present, Stanley somehow can tell what hole he found the lipstick tube in. He found it like a month ago. And there are thousands of holes. What the hell? They find the treasure, but it happens to be near a nest of yellow spotted lizards. Despite the lizards being dangerous, they don't bite Zero and Stanley. However, the warden, Dr. Kandinsky, and Mr. Sir catch the two boys. The warden explains that as a pal kid, her grandpa forced her to dig holes every day. The attorney comes back and the warden tells lies about what actually happened. This is the last straw because Stanley and Zero finally get away from the lizards. He then says what is really happening, and basically everyone finds out how much of a lying cunt the warden is and how illegal this entire camp is. They also find out about how the treasure belongs to the Yelnats family. This could easily have been found out if they, well, I don't know, check this please! The warden, Dr. Pendensky, who actually isn't a doctor, and Mr. Sir are all arrested. Zero and Hector then leave the camp. Oh, and it actually rains for the first time. We get a happy scene that is right out of a Disney movie. Oh wait. They get home and Stanley and his family open the treasure. Inside they find stuff that could be worth millions of dollars. They give half their money to Zero, or I should call him Hector, I guess, and Hector finally gets to see his mom again, and we get a happy scene that is right out of a Disney film. Oh wait. The kids from Camp Green Lake are released for a bit. Stanley and Hector get a great new house, and Stanley's dad sells his shoe cleaner with the name Sploosh. Funny. So that was Holes. It was great. For all its small flaws and overdoing the flashbacks, it's a really great film. All the actors do great jobs, especially seeing how most of them are young. The film takes itself seriously, and it's quite dark at times, but it still has a charm to it. This is something you don't see in a lot of early 2000s live-action Disney films, or hell, any kids film at all. It also is really faithful adaptation of the book. Anyway, I'm Professor Shadow, and I'm gonna go bury this movie again. Thanks for watching, and have a crappy day.